Hey guys, welcome to JTV Extra. I'm Sandra Younger, and I want to thank everyone that reached out to me and asked me if I was okay after the earthquake. And honestly, I didn't even feel it. I was too busy vacuuming, and I guess maybe the vibration from the vacuum cleaner, maybe it just coincided with the 2-second earthquake that we got. Anyway, today's show is going to be about ladder stitching, but this time I'm going to be using Suppplemax. And the reason is because for me, Suppplemax is new, so I'm kind of running it through its paces, whether it's knotting, braiding, and so I thought the first thing that I was going to try with it is the ladder stitch. And the reason is because usually I do the ladder stitch with the wax jewelry cord, and it has what I call the profile is just a little bit different. So if you're looking for something that's got a very that blends in, has a very smooth profile, then this is a good choice. But the problem that I ran into is that you have to, when you're starting it and ending it, since it's a completely different kind of a stringing material than what I'm used to, it just wasn't working out. So, I went to the, my work table, and I tried a bunch of different things, and I came up with a solution. So if you ever do a ladder stitch with the Suppplemax, you'll know exactly what to do and how to get the hands down the best finishing, so that your bracelet or necklace doesn't fall apart. If you're new here, welcome. You can ask questions, leave comments down below. If you during the show, if you're interested in any of the products. And by the way, these little guides, they're like these little balls that you put on the ends of cord. And I'm going to go into more detail about those because I think they're fascinating. I had trouble trying to figure out how to use them, but I came up with the tips and the tricks, and I'm going to share those with you. Hopefully towards the end of the show. And I'm hoping that this ladder bracelet lesson is going to be, kind of quick and easy. And it's not going to be so much a project, so I don't have a cheat sheet, but it's going to be mostly tips and tricks. And I'm sure, leave down in the comments, I'm sure most of you have attempted to make a ladder bracelet at some point in your life. Actually, I'd be really interested to know who has never made a ladder bracelet. I mean, because I think everyone that makes jewelry with stringy material has at least attempted that at some point. Anyway, we're going to do the products, the customer show, and then we'll get to our lesson. Okay, so here are today's products. We have a lot of rondite, that's for sure. But if you've never seen this board, this tool, this is a cord knotting and design tool that I invented because I love working with stringing materials, and I just couldn't, I just didn't have a way to make it do what I wanted. But this board, oh my gosh, it just helps you get the job done quickly and easily. And this is our large board, and it's almost 20 inches wide. It's 19.5 by 8, so it's not small. It's pretty big. You'll see me using it in the show, so you can get a reference. But I teach so many different techniques, and some of what you get is the hardware kit that you see there on the left with the flip bobbins, the needles, the pins and clips. You get a pouch, and it does come with an instructional DVD and a picture book, but everything is online. You get a password for all the lessons, and we also have our smaller board, which I call it. It's I call it my travel board because I take it with me when I travel because it's compact. But one of the cool things that you could do if you need a mega board is that you can put them side by side, and it's like having a turbo board, and it's incredible. And one thing that I really like about both of these tools, if you take a look, I mean, it does 1, 2, 3 different things that are so important. It keeps track of your measurement. It has a space underneath, and it helps you keep really good tension. But this one is unique because it's got a peg system. And if you see on top there, one of the things that I teach is a multi-strand. And having that option is it just really changes the way you make jewelry. It's just fantastic. But these are both of our cord knotting tools. And let's see, next we have, okay, JM Kit 1940. I really like these. I hope that I have time at the end of the show. I'm still getting myself familiar with them because I guess the idea is like if you're working with like I don't know, like any kind of stringy material, it has to be like on the thinner side. It's like if you're doing like pearl knotting and stuff like that. And I've tested it on a few different sizes of Griffin, and the sizes that fit so far, the 8, the 10, and the 12. But there's it was a little bit tricky getting the knot in there because if you're using the thicker size, it was like pretty impossible actually. But I found the workaround. So hopefully at the end of the show I can share share that with you. But if you buy anything today, get the not those two, but these are really nice because if you don't like those the clamshell that goes on the ends of cords, then these honestly I think are the best alternative to come around ever. And this kit, okay, this one has those clamshells, and I mean they're just different. I guess it just depends on what your preferences. But you can see there on the bottom, it's got the clamshell, the open rings, extender chain, and the stainless steel clasp. So this is a nice little kit to have, for, because, everyone, we always need like little things like this because they're just like those must-have like parts for making jewelry. And then okay, this is a cord that I am still like learning to use because I had never used it before. And one of the first things I'm using it for is to make doing the stitching for the ladder bracelet. And this one comes, let's see, it says it's a 1/4 of a millimeter thick. And the spool is 50 meters, which is about 50 yards. So you get 200 in total. And this is it's a closeout buy right now for $14.99. But the thing is, that's what today's show is about, because when I got to the end, it was like kind of like, what do I do with the ends? That was really tricky, but I have a cool way to share with you. And so that is the Suppplemax. If any of you have ever used it, can you comment down below? Because I would like to know, because as I keep running this cord through its paces, I'd like to know what other people have done with it. And then we got 2 sets of rondite. Okay, the main difference is the sizes. This one is a 6 to 12 millimeter strand set of 4. The strands are about 14 to 15 inches long. So these are like on the chunkier side. And then the next set is the smaller ones. These are like 6 and 8 millimeter. And let's see, this one you get 2 strands of 6 millimeter and 2 strands of 8. And I believe the bracelet that I made, I think I used the 8 millimeter, but I don't know. Today I think because I'm mostly teaching the just what I did at the end, not so much the the like how to ladder, but kind of sort of that too. I don't know which ones. I might even use the glass beads that are like coming up, which are these guys, because I like the 1, 2, 3, 4. I like the fourth ones over. And the nice thing about these is they have like pretty big holes, which is always welcome, especially when you're laddering. And this is what they look like. And one of them, I don't know, they're just really cool. One of them is like a half crystal, half solid, very, very like interesting. And here's a close up of the there's a pearl, and then there's like a clear glass, and then the gray like moon. Oh, I think I'm spilling stuff. And the gray moon type thing. But I mean, if anything, the product that I was really intrigued by are those little gold and silver end things. I can't wait to use them a lot more. I mean, I didn't want to experiment with them because I didn't want to. I don't know. Sometimes when you have so few of something, you don't want to waste it. So I just felt like, unless I have like the plan in my head, I'm not going to use a single one of them. But hopefully at the end of the show, I'm going to show you some like cool things that you can do. All right, so those are all the products on today's show. You know, it's funny because when I got those, without even thinking, I just like, oh God, I got to squeeze it. And I'm like, oh, I squeezed it. Now I can't use it. And so I was being real careful. And then I did one on a necklace, but I did it the wrong way. So those are some of the tips and tricks I'm going to share with you that like, so when you go to use them, you don't do what I did. But we'll do the customer show because I'm so eager. I mean, even though it's something I'm going to show towards the end of the show, I just want to like give you like a little sneak peek. But let's do the customer show. And I want to thank Laura Lee and Sarah, North Carolina, for sending stuff in. So here we go. Ooh, first we've got Laura Lee. Guys, these are Herkimer diamonds. You know what? I have never even had a Herkimer diamond in my hand. You know what? I love them. I like that chunky. You know what I was thinking? I mean, I think these would look really cool, like crocheted. So if I ever get my hands on a strand of Herkimer diamonds, I'm going to try crocheting them because, you know, like nuggets like this, I think, honestly, the hands down the best technique for like chips or nuggets like this is like if you don't want to string them is like crochet because it looks so good. And then the next oh, here's another like picture of it. And look how cute that little like thing is in front, that clasp. And then that really cool like pendant. That is really cute. Like I don't know if it's like a charm or a pendant. But I think it looks really interesting, and it appears later on. We'll see something similar to that again. And then next we have Sarah, North Carolina. Sarah did a perfect job. I mean, this looks like I made it. I mean, that's how good a job she did. So we've got the moose knots. It's got the overhand knots. Oh, and on the core, I see that you used a different stringing material. And I think we talked about this, Sarah, and I think the deal was the holes weren't large holes, so it wouldn't fit through the leather, but you used a thinner cord. I think I've done a lesson like that. If not, Sarah is ahead of the game. Have I done anything like that, Sarah, like where I showed like how to connect the threads, or are you just so smart you figured it out? I'm going to guess you're smart and figured it out because you are just so talented. And then next, okay, this one's interesting because there's another picture, which is this one. Laura Lee, is it the same necklace? Because on this one, I can clearly see that there are two strands of the red beads, but on this necklace, it looks like there's only one. So I am very curious. Oh, and see that little pendant? Here it is again, except this one is like a bronze color. Okay, let's go back to this one. Okay, look at that. It is so pretty. God, I don't know if it's my eyes playing tricks on me, or is it? Okay, it's my eye, because it is, because look at that. I see two clasps and I see like two pendants. So I'm gonna say my final answer, Laura Lee, is that it is a single. Okay, that makes sense because I mean there'd be no reason to have like two, unless you put two clasps on there. So I will let you answer that one. Then next we have Sarah, North Carolina. You know, I really like these kinds of bracelets that they're simple. They've got like a focal and they're adjustable. Because I know Pat from New York one time said the 10-second rule. If you can't put it on in 10 seconds, chances are you won't wear it. And these are the ones that I tend to go to the most because they are the fastest and easiest to put on. And I love the colors, greens and hot pink. And these were made with Eslon 400. So, and Sarah said she likes working with the Eslon 400 more so than the 18, which makes sense for this kind of bracelet because, you know, the thinner the cord, the longer it's going to take to make. But I think these look like phenomenal. I like the ends too. I like the, you know, the beads that you put on the end. And then next we have, ooh, this one's so pretty. Ah, look at this one, Laura Lee. It's so pretty. And I mean, you can't notice it so much on, oh yeah, you can. Okay, let me talk about it. What I noticed is the core. Okay, it's got the macrame with the beads on the outside, but the inside is gold thread or cord. So I like the accent with the, you know, the shiny gold cord with the, you know, the black on the outside with the beads. And it's interesting that, you know, you've got black cord and then you use the black, you know, little beads on the outside. Because what it does is it gives it more texture. I mean, it doesn't look like, oh, there's like a bead. It just look, I don't know, it's just like more of a texture thing. I think it looks really cool. Very, very cool. And then, oh, Sarah, North Carolina. Okay, this one, I love the color combination. Anything with red and black is like A-okay in my book. And then it's got the blue with the silver. And one thing I really love about this necklace is that here, I'll come in here, is the detail. Look at, like, you've got the chain with those wire wrap beads. I mean, I used the Buddhas on the one that I did for the show, but look how cool, it just looks perfect. Let's go back and look at it one more time. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh my goodness. That is a real eye-catching necklace. So here we go with the details. And then we have, okay, Sarah, North Carolina. If you didn't watch the show where I showed this really cool, like, to me, it is the only way to make a lariat, which is the adjustable lariat, because most of the time a lariat, you just like it's like a one-shot deal, and then you just have to, like, you know, fix your necklace, and you just don't have very many options. But when it's adjustable like this, you got like tons of options, because you can make it really long, you can make it short. It's just like one of my favorite. I think it's the only way actually that I do make any kind of lariat. And the detail on this one, just like the other one, look at that. It's got like the little knots, and it's got these beads in front. Let me go back here because I know we can't see those very well. But did you buy these from JTV? They look familiar. I'm not saying that they've ever come through. No, it's got a star in it. I don't know. But then it's got the wire wrap bead at the bottom. I mean, just stuff like that I love. Anyway, those are Laura Lee and Sarah, the Laura Lee and Sarah show. If you guys have anything you want to submit, email it to me at the knotty-do-it-all@gmail.com. Ooh, I noticed Kim said that she didn't watch the adjustable lariat show. It's such a cool way to make a lariat, because you know how if you make a lariat, you put it on and then you got to flip it, and you know, then you're just kind of stuck with that length. But if you make it like adjustable, you flip it, and then you could just, oh, I just love it. Anyway, let's get to today's project. And guys, I want to thank all of you. Oh my God, there's so many of you here. I just want to say hello. We've got like Kim, Mary, Michael, Laura Lee. Okay, so you took the picture on a mirror. It was driving me nuts. I'm like, how on earth did that happen? I thought maybe your camera took 2 pictures at once or something, but that's so cool. I love it. I love it. I love it. Very interesting. Okay, so we're gonna do our little project here, but the thing that I'm very excited to talk about towards the end of the show are these guys, and I'll just give you like a little sneak peek. So just so you can get an idea and like consider buying those end clasp beads, because I just want to show you how clean it looks. Let me see if I can zoom in, because sometimes you got to like see it like close up. Because honestly, the pictures I took at nothing does them justice until you actually have them in your hand. But look how clean they look. See that? So like if you need to finish the end of now this cord is, I think it's silk actually. So there you have it. See, I've never seen an ending for like silk or any kind of stringy material that was that clean. But towards the end, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks. And like, let's say you have like, because this is a size 10, but you're like, well, what if I have like a different size? How do I like figure it out? So we're going to like talk about that. Okay. So this project, the two problems I had at the beginning when I was working with this is like, because this cord is very, very thin and it's very, very, well, I call it like somewhat, oh, how is it different from a clamshell? Okay, Jenny, let me, you know what? I'll actually be able to answer that question because we have clamshells on the show and we also have this, and I'll show that that's a good question. So, Gina, Crystal, John, oh my God, thank you guys for joining the show. Okay, so let me focus here. The way I'm going to show you how to start and how to end is like, even when I'm using the wax jewelry cord or any kind of cord, that's exactly how I do it. Usually for like a 6 to 7 inch, what I do is I measure out 100 inches because I always double my cord. So I'm just gonna, but you know, I'll just go with the 100 so I can, let me do that right here. So there's 36, 46, and 50. Okay, so then you just get like 50, 50 and double it. And this cord is very curly and it's a little more difficult to like handle, but you know, I just want to let you guys know like what to expect. Because, you know, sometimes, I mean, there'll come a day where for whatever reason you need just like a different kind of material. Okay, so I'm going to put my leader needle on. And this cord, even though it is kind of like fishing line, it didn't go through any of the needles that I had, because usually for the leader needles, I'll use the like a John James 12, or if I need like a really thin leader needle, I'll use the John James 15. But you know, that's another story. I think on my website I have more information on how to use leader needles in case you're not familiar. But you know, it's basically when you if you put the needle on here, sometimes that's the problem. You can't. It's the needle that causes you not to be able to get your bead through. Okay, so I'm gonna put all this aside, and we are going to use the coil knot. So this is like a variation of the coil knot, except it's got just a slightly different application, but it is very clean. And you know what? I'm going to change the color of the leather because I thought about that at the beginning of the show because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. So let me swap this out. And this, I'm using 17 inches of leather. And I'm not going to make the whole bracelet. I'm going to keep my eye on the time because I want to be able to get to, because you know, once you get started with the ladder bracelet, I mean, it's pretty much you know, just very repetitive stitching, but this board definitely makes it easier. Okay, so I'm gonna clip this in. Oh, and in case you don't know the trick, I mean, for the 12mm button, you know, I just slightly like bend this part of the clip so that it could open more. So this button, but there are different things you could do with bigger buttons, but we're going to be just using this. And one thing I want to, oh my, I don't even know the word. Okay, when I'm laddering with the wax cord, I just want you to know this. I do exactly the same thing except with a different like cord. Okay, so when you make this a coil knot, you need to make it in such a way so that the needle part is going that way. So and you know what? I can never remember, honestly, so I just like try it. And let's see if I do it this way. Is that going to, yes. Okay, that's going to work. So I just come in this way and then wrap. And I'm going to go, let's see, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's go like 4 times around. Okay, I'm going to get my finger under there, and And like I said, this cord is like very, you gotta show it who's boss. Okay, so I'm gonna put a needle in there, and I'm gonna put the cords. No, did I do that wrong? I did. Okay, see? Uh-oh. Oh my goodness. Maybe it's the other way. See, that always happens. Okay, so maybe it's this way. That way? No. Oh my goodness. I don't know why sometimes it works. Is that right? This way? What am I doing wrong? Or maybe it's this way. Oh my goodness, what is going on? Hang on. This is so weird. Okay, if I go this way. Oh yeah, I think I got it right. Okay. Huh. Okay, so that will go that way. Okay, that's it. I was just like getting really confused. Okay. Okay, that's it. Okay. Okay, let me put that needle back in. Does that ever happen to you where you've done something a million times and you're just like, that doesn't look right? Sometimes that happens to me with like words, like, you spell them and you're just like, that doesn't look right. Okay, so this is right. Okay. I think I had it right at the beginning. I was just like confused. So I'm going to wrap that around. Okay, that's exactly what you want. Because you want, when you feed the short cords in, you want them to go that way. So let me fix my focus here. Right. Is that not focusing? Hang on. Okay. Right there. Okay, so I'm going to feed these guys in. And the so I read up on this cord and it said that's a problem I had right there, is that it even with the needle, I think it's got a lot of, I guess it's called memory. I guess I don't know. Okay, let's get this side in. Okay, I'm gonna get this. Okay, perfect. Okay. Now you know that when you're making a ladder bracelet, it's like a hurricane, because anything in its wake is going to get tangled. Okay, so okay, so there we go. And one thing that I did do was I put a little tiny dab of a GS Hypo Cement right where the knot is going to sit. And then I moved it all the way over. So let's move this over and then tighten. Okay, one really important thing that I did here is, I'll do it after I do a few ladder stitches here. I'm going to zoom in some more because this is kind of important. Let me move my junk. We're going to need to make a knot right over here because this is a more slippery cord. And I just feel that with a knot and then the GS Hypo Cement, it's going to be very secure. So let's get that. And another thing I like to do, oh my God, we have a full house. Gina, Ella, Pat, Michael, Laura Lee. I'm going to, put a little bit of space in there. So I'm going to grab another clip and just, only because, you want a little bit of space when you're doing the ladder stitch. Okay, I'm going to tighten that. And then I'm going to come in here with my needle. And I'm going to be using these beads because it's going to be a little bit faster. Well, let me fix this. These are the glass beads, and they do have a nice big holes. And one thing that I've been reading up on this particular stringy material, and it said that it's not for abrasive beads. So if I wouldn't use it with gemstone beads. So I'm going to put this underneath like that. I'm going to feed the cord through. And you just got to really keep your eye on it just to make sure that it doesn't like get tangled. And okay, let's come over nice and close. And before I pull this all the way down, I'd like to just kind of like see how I'm like slightly pulling it to the left, and then I tighten it. And this, like I said, see, it's got such a low, like a low profile. So when you do the first bead, it's really important. I mean, and this is only for the first one, and it keeps it from like popping out, is that you have to come in right in here and just give it like one wrap. And see, this whole time, I'm just like holding this cord and just like keeping it like, I'm just like from going crazy. So I'm holding it. I'm gonna like, actually, you know, I like to work standing up. Do you guys like, does anybody else here like work standing up or sitting down, or like, how do you guys do it? I'd like to either like be sitting on the ground or standing up. So now I'm going to come through here, and I'm just making sure it doesn't. And what I do, see how this loop got bigger than that loop? All you got to do is just put your fingers here and just like lightly pull, and the one that is not behaving, or it just automatically just pops up. So look at that, perfect. And you don't have to like wrap around the the bead again. I mean, you could if you want to, like just a different kind of aesthetic. For every bead, you could wrap back around, but for this lesson, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to just come in here, just pull it, make sure it's as tight as it can be. Perfect. And then you just see how it just gets tangled, tangled, tangled. Okay. I'm going to come in here. You know, all things being perfect, like if I don't have a bunch of like stuff around me and have everything set up correctly, believe it or not, I could make a 3-wrap ladder bracelet, I mean, with 8mm beads in 45 minutes. And I think it's because see, I've got all this stuff for the cord. And you literally, I mean, have to be out in the middle of nowhere with nothing around you, especially cats. Oh my goodness. If you have a cat and you're trying to make a ladder bracelet, forget it. Okay, let me pull this. Okay, good. Very, very nice. I'll have to be on my timing. Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk, let me see timing. I'm going to do about 3 or 4 more, and then I'm going to get to the juicy part, because the fun part is the end of this. That's the cool part. And I do that. The way I'm going to show you today is my preferred method to ladder bracelets, because a lot of the ladder bracelets on the market, it's just, for some reason, I just cannot, like, I don't like it, where the end has like this tail of leather with a bunch of like holes, and it just like sticks out funny. I guess you're supposed to trim it when you get it. Do any of you do that? Or I don't know, but I'm always nervous about trimming stuff, because, you know, I'm just afraid it's going to fall apart, unless I made it, because I could always make it again. Yeah, the cat, yes, I know how the cat does it, but she manages to find my, you know, yeah, I think it was last week's Instagram post, like right at the end, my cat, you probably, I don't know, maybe a lot of you didn't see it, but the cat like jumped on the table and was like trying to get in on the action every time. It's crazy. Crazy cats. They always know when to like disturb. Okay, I'm going to do a couple of more. But see how quick and easy it goes by? And, you know, some of the cool things that you can do is like, which I did on this bracelet. Hang on, I'll show you in a second. You could just like change up the pattern. You can use like different kinds of like beads. but if one thing, I'll tell you what not, I don't know what, it's not like what not to do, like what, you know what I mean? N-O-T. I think that the transition from this size, which is a 6 millimeter, to the 3.5 millimeter, was too much. So you could see like, it's kind of like gappy looking. See right in there. See that? I like it to be like where there isn't that space, but it was hard to, I mean, it worked out over here, but it took a lot of extra effort. See, that one looks kind of weird, but what you can do is I could have stacked two smaller beads on top of each other, which I kind of sort of did here. Oh, see, okay, so I was kind of experimenting with this one. So that one like looked good. So this is the 6 millimeter, and then I stacked two of these beads on top of each other. So you can do, you know, something like that. And that's one of the really interesting things about the ladder bracelet is you can experiment on, you know, designs and patterns. Like, oh my goodness, there's just no end to the designs that you can make. And I think what I was trying for, which it ended up not working out, I was trying to make one that looked like it had like eyes, because, you know, I was going to call it the I bracelet, but it didn't work out. So I just kind of like changed things up and just threw in just that orange bead just to give it like a little bit of a pop of interest. So cool. Yeah, I know. I like the curves. I mean, I've got some crazy ladder bracelets that I've made, but maybe, you know, probably because I'm making a new website, maybe I'll just do a whole like ladder bracelet pattern like thing. But, you know, there's so many lessons online that, you know, I'm like, I don't want to like be reinventing the wheel, you know, but, you know, I like making the videos and I try to make them as clear as possible. So maybe it's something that I will think about doing. Okay, I'm going to do one more here and then we'll get to the fun part. Okay. And I think that this is like hands down the best way to finish a ladder bracelet. Okay. You know, I think I'm going to like stop there because how am I doing on time? Okay, yeah, I'm going to stop here. Okay, so you would just keep on doing your thing until you get to the length you want. Okay, here's the fun part. Okay, let me turn this board around. Whoops. Okay, so let me zoom in because this is important. Is it focused? Let's check a look. Perfect. Okay. So you need to go back through this bead, the last one, and I'll do this slow. Thank you, Pat. Oh my goodness, you guys are so awesome. So you're going to like go under. You're going to go back through. Okay. So there you have that. Okay, so did that everyone catch that? So I'm just going back through. However, go back to the leader needle and cut. Okay, so we're just going to cut the leader needle off. But don't cut the cord that you weaved with. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to pull one of them back out. Okay, so let's just get one. So you're going to keep the other one in there. Do you guys see how I did that? I want to make sure that you caught that, because what I did was I went back through the bead, I cut the end, the fold, and then I just pulled one of them back out. So that way you have this. Just like that. Beautiful. Okay, normally, I mean, this is how I do it when I'm using the waxed cord. And what I do now is I start to macrame, you know, like a little piece right here. And then I do this other thing, which I'll show in a minute. However, this cord is slippery and thin, so it needs a little bit of help. So what I did was I took the let me zoom out. I'm going to take some of this cord, and maybe about like 16 inches or so, and this is the wax jewelry cord, the 0.4 or 5, the thinner one, and I'm going to separate the strands. And it's easy to do. So if you've never done this, how many of you know how to do this? Okay, for the I bracelet, small bead, large bead, small bead, and then yeah. Ooh, yes, that sounds like a good idea. Oh, I need to try that. So then you come back in and you just pull it and see all the kinks come right out. Can you see that? You guys know this trick. I always talk about this. Oh, do you mess up? Oh, maybe I'll do like I think I have a video on my let's see, Pat. I usually use 2 cords from the beginning, crisscrossing inside each bead, so I always have a tail. Yeah, you know what? Okay, that's interesting, Pat. That is one that you go like this. Yeah. You know what? That would work perfectly with this technique. Maybe I should do that. Maybe that should be another lesson. But you're right. That is another way to do this. So what I do here is I find the middle of this, and I'm going to line them up just like that. Put it right on the bottom. It's focused. Boop. And then I'm going to like start to macrame like with both of them. So what this does, it just gives it has the Suppplemax kind of like bound in there. And then you have to pull one. You have to pull each of them like to tighten. And that first one is always a little bit like loose, but after you put the second one down, okay, so that's a top. And then you're going to come in and do a bottom with both the cords. Let me scoop that up and then tighten. But then you got to look for the 2 separate cords. You got to tighten that one and then this one. Top, bottom, and then top. And it just, okay, and you have to keep repeating that process. So that way, you know, you have them all nice and tight. And then I think that was, I need to do a bottom. Okay. And oh my goodness, I don't want to run out of time. So I'm going to try to like speed it up. Okay. And then you come in here and tighten, and let's do a bottom and then the fun part. Okay. Does that make sense what I'm doing, everybody? Okay. So then you want to come in here and put a ring on just like that. And, you know, kind of like, you know, you kind of like look at it and get an idea of like how much space you want. And then I am going to put this part here and then this part somewhere along. And then what I'm going to start doing is doing the macrame like over both of these. So let me just come in here and by adding in that extra like wax jewelry cord, it just really helps strengthen. Okay. And see how you have to like get both. Okay, there's a top. It's a little bit like, because I'm not used to doing the this with the 2 cords, but once you just come in here, do it, tighten. You get these 2 and then this one, and then you just keep going until you get up to the ring, and then you go back over it. Okay. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, I am trying to concentrate on this, so I hope I don't miss. I'll look at the screen here. The language and its idioms are constantly changing. Okay. Okay, so that's what I do. I go all the way to the ring, and then what I do, the next thing I do, let me just do one more. How am I doing on time? Okay, I think I'm doing okay. Maybe I could like do a few more because you want to do as many as you can get away with. Okay. And then, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna like go back over because I don't want to run out of time. So the what you do, oh my goodness, let me move some of this. Huh. Let's see, why is it not focusing? Okay, right there. So what you want to do is go back over, and then you're gonna like macrame it all the way down to where you started. So I'm gonna kind of do this fast. Okay, so there's a top and the bottom. You guys have seen me do this before, right? Like where I macrame and then I macrame back over, and it just makes it so strong. And you do want to like pull on both of the cords. I'm not doing it right now because I don't want to run out of time because it does take a little bit of extra work. But when you finish, it looks really, really clean. And you have the confidence knowing that it's not going to fall apart. So there's that. And then, okay, it's starting to like do its thing. Okay, look at that. Ooh, I like that. Beautiful. Oh, I love it. I mean, nothing, right? I have to, like, you guys know that nothing is like the best is when you have a nice, clean finish, not something that looks like kind of crazy. Okay, this looks good. And I'm using a thread zap for this. And let's see, come in here and just use your thread zap to clean those up and then tap it. And then do the same thing on the other side. Tap. Let me check it out. And then you cut these off. But doesn't that look fantastic? Let me get my trusty cuticle scissors, which I love, by the way, for cutting leather close. But look at that. Isn't that like the best? And then on this side, what you want to do, oh my, you know what? Well, what you do is you make like a square knot and then like burn it. But I want to get to the other product, which is this stuff here because I don't want to miss out. Okay. So these guys here. Okay, I'm gonna. Oh, I hate cutting this thing off, but I have to. Oh well. Sacrifices must be made. So where are my scissors? Okay, hang on, guys. I know they're right in front of my face, but I don't see them. Scissors. I'll just use like a razor. I'll just use this. Okay, so what I did to get the knot on. Okay, actually I used a clip because it really helped hold it. So let's take our pick here. Okay, so I'm going to get one of these. And they're so tiny. They honestly, I couldn't make them work unless I put them in a clip. Because, let me see if I can really zoom. I can't, let me see, hang on, let me see if I can zoom in closer. Okay, You guys can like see that. So you saw what I did. I've got the opening part like right there, and I'm putting it like up on the clip. And that's because, okay, this is a size 10 silk. I made the knot and I thought, okay, I'm going to make the knot and then put it in there. But this thing isn't like open enough to get a knot made with the number 10 in there. So what I did was, okay, let's see if I can pull this off again. And the direction that this ring faces is really important because you want to make it to where the needle is on the opposite end, because the first time I did it, I don't know what I was thinking. I did the knot, but then the needle, see, if the needle is facing that way, then it's on backwards. Yeah. So what I did, let's see if I could reenact this. So I made the knot, but I didn't tighten it. I kind of like left it like a little bit like loose. And then I kind of like stuffed it in there. Like, let's get it like stuffed. Because when without like stuffing the like, oh, you know what else I did? Actually, let me backtrack a little bit. Let's get this out. Because it was actually, it was helpful. I did something else. Okay. I got the needle. See, I'm doing it right now. Oh, girl. See, I almost did that where I put the needle on the wrong side. So I've got to do it this way. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. Okay. String it through. Okay. And then make the overhand knot. I'm sure like in like a couple of weeks, I'll be way better at doing this and explaining it. But the idea is you want to like get the knot in there before it's tightened. Okay. Okay, so right there, it's kind of, let me kind of squeeze it in. Well, I did it before. Okay, it keeps wanting to pop out. Hang on. Maybe if I got like a stick or something, and squeeze. Let me see what I can do here. And once you get some practice, you know, I don't know why when I did it the first time, it just like boom, it was like perfect. Let me try this again. Okay, got the loose knot. Put it in there. I think that's the trick. Oh yeah, okay, that's it. You got to pull it down. Duh, I don't know why I didn't think of that. And then you like tighten it. That was the trick. You just kind of like press it down. And then you like, then after you've pressed it down, then you tighten and see how the knot is inside. That, guys, that's the trick. Does the clamshell open? Yes, that is the next thing. Okay, I've got these things that I love. This does the trick. This is what you need to close them. And when you close them, they close so perfectly. Okay, so you get them in there. You get this bead in there. Line it up. And then you squeeze. And it just does such a perfect job. Look at that. See that? Oh, that is, to me, is like the best. Because most of the time with like crimp covers, oh, it is so annoying. Yeah, it will take a little bit of practice, but you know, just remember to like press it down, because like I said, I'm kind of like new using these ends, but and I didn't take notes. Laura Lee and I were talking about notes the other day. And so I'm just going to come in here with a razor and like just trim it. And you could get one of these like thread burners, which are really handy to kind of clean up the, you know, the ends there. And see how nice and clean that is. And one thing I really like about these is when you close them, it actually like closes. Because with regular crimp covers, you close them and it just, sometimes there's still a gap. But so I have tried this with the size 10, which the knot fits, the size 8. I'm not sure about the size 6, but I did have like a cool idea so that you can see if something will fit. So what you'd have to do is, unfortunately, you'll have to sacrifice one of your beads and just close it. Oh, you know, actually, I have one here that let me zoom out. Thank you, Gina. Right, Pat? I really like them. Yeah. So I put a bead just to let myself know that, like, if I lose it, I can find it. So what this is my little gaugey type thing. So let's try, for example, we got some Eslon 18 to find out whether it will work. So what I do is I just take this thing and through the bottom, since there isn't anything on there, I just feed the Eslon 18 through. Whoops. Actually, maybe I should do it from the top. It actually, you know, this is a little bit tricky because we can get it. Let's see. I mean, it's doable. Maybe I just need to bend the loop back because, see, when you put the thread through, so the idea is that you make like a knot in your thread, right? And you poke it through. Can we do this? Ooh. I'm not good with working with these like microscopic things unless I've got like jeweler's loops on. Okay, so there's that, and we got it. Okay, perfect. Uh-oh, not really. Or did we? I don't know, part of it kind of got like stuck somewhere, I think. Yeah, it did. Ah. Or did it? See, I can't even tell. How many of you use jeweler's loop? Yeah, oh, you know what? Let's do the handy trick. Let's see if that works. Let's do the heat hardening of the needle. One of my tips that I always like. Let's see. So, whoops. Nope. So you guys know that trick. If you take like some stringy material and then you run let's get this focused. If you run like heat underneath it, it will like you could like heat harden. Let's try that. Let's see if that works. Okay. Okay, let's take our razor and cut, and we're going to get that through. Okay. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, what is going on? Am I like, hang on, I don't know. I guess I got excited with my ladder bracelet. Okay, so we're going to feed that through. Did it work? Yay, yes, it did. So heat harden the needle and then pull it through. If that's what you're going to look for right there. When you pull it through with a knot, if you cannot get the knot to pop through going this way, that means if you make this knot and put this little clammy thing on there, it's going to work. So Eslon 18, you know, I don't know. I've read it's a 0.5, but, you know, I don't know. I think the best thing to do is just try it. And if it works, then like keep going. The clamshell parts that, let's see, are these guys here. This is the other option. And the way these work, I know I only have 45 seconds, but you feed your cord through. Let me put that here. You feed the cord, oops, through like this. Oh my gosh. Ew. Well, the point is, you feed the cord through, make the knot, pull it back, and then you close these things. But, I mean, look at the aesthetic. I mean, you got to admit, that one looks way better than that one. I mean, by a magnitude of 1,000 to 1. But, you know, sometimes, you know, these are more economical, and it's probably quicker and easier. So if you just want something economical, fast and easy, then probably that's the best way to go. But these are just like, in my opinion, at the moment, the Rolls Royce of like crimp-on end things for like silk or a nylon cord. Anyway, I think my time has come to an end. I want to thank everyone for joining today's show. And I hope you learned something, especially like, you know, when you're working with like a different kind of cord, just to like throw in some the 0.5 wax jewelry cord split, and it'll give you a nice clean end. All right, guys, I will see you next week, and thank you for joining the show. All right, bye.